Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today's play almost didn't happen. I was having a really hard time playing. I just had all those critical thoughts in my head, that logical left brain that was just having a control freak kind of day, and it was really in my way of just playing. Now, looking back, the things that were being said in my head were just a little ridiculous, and things were being taken way too seriously. So it's very fitting that what got me playing was playing around in the permission to play journal, because I certainly needed to give myself permission to play today. Well, that thinking brain of mine is not helping me one bit when it comes to the play here. So I just had to start somewhere. So I turned to my cardboard journal that was created in the permission to play workshop, and I just started putting some paint on it. I don't have any idea where this is going to go, but it has to start somewhere. Now, that logical left brain of mine is certainly making a lot of noise, like, are you sure that's what you want to cover up? Do you really want to put that there? As I'm playing around here with the 3x5 gel press plate. So as I add some more color with the gelatos, that logical left brain is having a hissy fit because the page on the left, I love that page. But it's never gone anywhere, but I loved it. And the page on the right, that page has pretty much been one giant oops after another. Outstanding opportunities presenting suddenly. So I don't have any problem covering stuff up all over that one. But as I put that pink gelatos on there, I realized the words that were under there were just the words that I needed today. There was something about seeing those and getting sort of that slap on the head from the muse of, duh, if you're looking for problems, that's what you're gonna see. And if you're looking for places to play, that's what you're gonna see. And that logical left brain was taking this all just a little too seriously. It definitely needed to lighten up. It definitely needed to know that I had permission to play inside this journal. So every time that logical left brain started to tell me something very serious, like, can you put the orange gelato there? The answer is yeah, because it's a cardboard art journal. I can do whatever I want in it. Now I grabbed some of this trim that I have here that I have had for a long time and haven't really used enough of. So can you hear that logical left brain in there? You own this, you haven't used it, you have to use it. And I pretty much had to laugh at that voice because what am I doing with it right now? I'm using it, so hush. I added some gelatos on it for some color because my goodness, I couldn't just leave it white. Little gel medium there, and I'm going to just slap it right into the journal. Now, as soon as I put this Castle Tower mask down here that's part of the Once Upon a Time stencil set from over at StencilGirl Products, as soon as it was on there, that logical left brain had a few questions for me. Like, do you realize when you get to the end, you probably didn't position this in the right place because you're going to have a hard time stenciling that end that's in the middle of the book? And are you sure that's the right color of paint? Do you think you should have used a different blue than that one? You see, it's going to be hard to stencil over there because you can't get it flat. You should have done it differently. And about this point is when I kind of told that voice to just pipe down, when maybe not quite so politely as that, because I'm having some fun just spreading the color around and playing. While I was having so much fun with the color in the play, I didn't even notice that the video camera had shut off. So luckily I caught it just after I'd finished doing this step, where I'd taken a rubber stamp, this one's from Darkroom Door, inked it up with a permanent ink pad, and then stamped it right there on the page. Well, I decided I wanted to play around with putting the inside of that archway a different color, so I decided to stamp it on this piece of book text, a scrap that had been around there. And yeah, remember I said a different color, and it's like the exact same color that's on there? Yeah, it's one of those things where good old logical lefty was certainly giving me a hard time about it. And I'm like, hey, this is just an oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. It's paper after all. I can just change the color of it. I decided to start with white, just smearing a little bit on there with my finger. And I thought, do I want this much? Do I want that much? And I'm just playing around with the amounts of it because this really is a critical decision as to what color I'm going to make this. At least that's how logical lefty is feeling about this right now. Yeah, that part of me is still taking things just a little too seriously. So I decided to have a little extra fun with that part of me. And by taking some white paint and going over the outside of that archway, that really freaks out that logical left side because there's no going back. Once I put that white paint on there, I can't wipe everything off. There's absolutely no going back. You would think it was like I've just boarded the very first spaceship to Mars and I was never going to see the planet Earth again because of this. This is just paint. This is just color in a cardboard art journal. Now, when I started this play, I was completely locked up and I was really having a hard time playing it all. But the more that I'm getting into this art journal page, the farther that I'm getting with it, the easier it is for me to just ignore those very serious, kind of ridiculous thoughts about the gravity of what's going on here, and I can just enjoy the play. Now, I kept forgetting to glue down the center of the shrine there, and that turned out to be a fantastic oops, because what an outstanding opportunity to make it easier to stencil on it when it's not actually on the page. Now, I wanted a very happy, kind of running, fun, excited, exuberant kind of person to put in the temple, and so that's why I grabbed one of the women from on my Learning to Dance stencil. So I've got her right there in the temple, but I think she needs a little something more. Just her on there isn't enough for me. I want to put some other ones around there. Now, that very serious voice in my head came roaring back at this point because I really liked how it looked so far, and if I did more stuff to it, I could ruin it. It might not look very good at all if I do more stuff to it. Or gasp, it could be completely ruined. Well, the playful part of me knows it's just going to be an oops. If it doesn't turn out well, it's going to be an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. I mean, after all, the words that I had over on the blue page on the right, that was a giant oops, and it finally now turned out to be an incredible opportunity. So I'm going to live on the edge. I am going to just take that risk and stencil another woman on there. Now, I really liked how she looked peeking out from behind the shrine, that I think I want to put somebody on the other side. Now, this is a really easy trick to do because by simply lining up the stencil where I want it and then putting the post-it note on where the line is on the shrine, that'll make it look like she's instantly behind it. Now, earlier in this video, I mentioned the Permission to Play workshop. That is a free workshop, and that is where I built this cardboard journal. There are lots of pages that I work on in there. You get to see the process for play because there are certain things that I found that really make it a lot easier for me to play, and I'm sharing 3 of those things in that workshop. And I'll have a link down below so you can click over and check it out. Now, art journal pages don't feel complete to me unless I've got some kind of text on them, words, writing, something. And so this to me really felt like it fit with this Archway the Shrine, what was going on for me today. So I'm putting you learn as you go. Now, that's one of the nice things, the flexibility of stencils, is that I stenciled half of it at the top and then I'm going to stencil the other half down below. That way it will fit just right underneath the shrine. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I have a new video out. And of course, head on over to the blog at acolorfuljourney.com where I've got more play over there. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.